let's talk about TSA, right?
Yes.
TSA, what is it? The Transportation Security Association, I think what it is. TSA was defunded by legislation, or was it defunded or wasn't funded because there were in the governing bodies, right, the legislative bodies, there was a disagreement of funding Homeland Security, specifically ICE. And as a result of that, that section of the national budget was put on hold for I forgot how long, but it was put on hold for a significant amount of time, which in turn impacted the TSOs, right? The officers at the airports, who are
Yeah.
checking the luggage and so on and so forth. And the funding or the discussion to the conversations or the contentiousness around this part of the bill actually resulted in a TSO or officers either calling out sick or leaving the work because they were not getting paid.
Well, it's interesting. This goes back to what you were saying, Kaya, earlier when you were talking about um, Trump messing with federal stuff is purposeful. This is purposeful.
Hmm.
So this was Steve Bannon even was talking about he felt like this was a test run to see how we could this is a test run to see how we could use DHS at the polls. This is a
Hmm.
test run to see how, like, yo, we could remove TSA and DHS should just take over all of security.
Hmm.
So they basically want ICE to be Cobra Khan of the whole fucking country. They basically want ICE to be, in charge of everything that they feel like they couldn't control. Elections, airports, post office. They want ICE to be basically Trump's personal army to handle all of that.
This is really interesting because, the platform largely of the Republican Party is that we don't want federal jurisdiction. We want the feds out of our business. And under the Trump administration, the feds is not only in your business, it's up in your ass. Do you hear me? Like
Yeah.
it has eroded a lot of federal agencies only for these like top flight security, to come in, right? And be in like different facets of our everyday lives. I think this is very ironic. That's a really, really good point. But what did emerge is that you had, I think, 30,000 workers who were impacted
Yeah.
by this stalling of payment. And before it came out, some people that I know who traveled, I said, well, what was it like? They were talking about these like astronomically long,
Long
5, 6, 7 hour lines, people
lines.
missing, people missing. It
It's
was a
like
lot
it's
of
just like
money.
it was right after 9/11. It's like just like post 9/11. Remember when
Yeah, I
right after,
remember that. Yes, and that whole TSA stuff was new. People like, I was like, "What you mean? I gotta take, I got." So yes, and they were saying that somebody said that I think it was in the Newark airport. They had like a bucket where you could put, money and donations in, and then
yeah,
that bucket would be then divided amongst the workers.
yeah.
In that time. I'm not saying that that might not have been the most, and then, yeah, I'm not saying that might not have been the most effective way, but it was an attempt to try and remedy this. Do you think more of that is going to happen, where the public is going to have to subsidize things, even though we're paying tax dollars, in order to make it move? And what does that look like, or what our response should be?
It's a good question. It's a damn good question. I think eventually they're gonna get it right. I think eventually they're gonna get it right because you think about the percentage of TSA folks who are constituents to these senators and congressmen. I think, I think came out like a couple nights ago. It's funny, it's not really been advertised, but like, they voted to fund TSA and all the Republicans did it against Trump's will, and that goes again to what me and you were talking about, like MAGA dies with Trump. He has a foothold on a certain level, but it feels like it's starting to slip. He's starting to lose his hold. on the Republican Party. Like he's going to have MAGA as far as his constituents, but as far as governing, because even with governing, he hasn't been doing anything through Congress. He's been doing everything through executive order. So there's no real relationship there between those two branches of government. As far as like they haven't been legislating through Congress. There haven't been really no real bills passed through Congress. So you know, I think they're going to end up getting it right, and we won't have to subsidize. I think they're going to figure it out because again, it goes back to affordability. This is literally just a losing game to play to rock with Trump on this when it's like all the people who vote for you work for TSA, federal government, like all the places that you're trying to cut and shut down. That's going to come back to bite you in the ass. But I think they're going to try, at least before midterm, they're going to try to get stuff right so we don't have to subsidize.
Well, I think that this is going to be used as a way to implement biometrics and AI
Yeah.
at the security level.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, for
all of
sure.
that behold the pale horse shit that I read at FAMU in 1993 and 94, 94, 95 actually is when I read it. All of these Terminator movies and all RoboCops and things like that. I think there's going to be a bigger push for that. By the way, I just read that Trump asked for like 1.4 trillion dollars for the war, for more war money, right? So I think that is going to, definitely happen. I don't know how near in the future it is, but one of the things I thought was really interesting during this TSA disruption is I saw in a lot of my algorithm people pushing for the TSA pre-check. And the
Yeah.
TSA pre-check is this idea of you submit your fingerprints and your facial identity and all this other stuff. So you could just go in. This is all part of like this mega surveillance that has becoming ultra problematic, but is being publicized as this is convenient. This is what we need to do to be safe. So that's what I see what's going to happen with the TSA situation. And like in I think a lot of technologies, it's like, oh, this is better because, no human error with the
Yeah.
computer. But there is now what we see, there's computer error, right? That people don't want to talk about, but especially in
Yeah.
the age of AI.
Yep.